Part A, Chapter 5, South Asia in the post-Cold War era. Basically, the end of the Cold War brought a huge change not only to world politics but also to the politics of South Asia. While India and Pakistan acquired nuclear power and caught the world's attention, the region continues to suffer from a number of problems. These problems often lead to conflicts among nations and slow down the development of the region. Just for example, border disputes, disputes regarding river water sharing, one country encouraging the troublemakers and insurgents of another country. So these are some of the common problems. And for ensuring peace and development in this region, the countries must find political solutions for these problems and encourage a spirit of cooperation among these countries. Here in this chapter 5 of part A, we will discuss the nature of the conflict and the cooperation between the South Asian countries. And we also discuss the politics of the South Asian states. Now, question is, what is South Asia? What is South Asia? So, South Asia implies Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. So, some states relatively, you just remember that India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. So, these countries include South Asia. So, now you get the answer. What is South Asia? South Asia means the Asian states including India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. So, do one thing. If you remember it by the alphabetic order, then it will help you, like Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. To the north of South Asia and Himalayas, to the south is the Indian Ocean. That means in the upper level we find Himalaya and the lower level we find Indian Ocean in South Asian region or area. To the west is the Arabian Sea and to the east is the Bay of Bengal. Although the countries of South Asia are diverse from each other, they are closely united by geographical location or their geographical areas. So this is how South Asia linked with each other, and it makes a situation for creating a bond between the states. Now, the political system of all the countries in this region is not same. That is another basic information. While India and Sri Lanka has successfully implemented democratic system after the independence, Pakistan and Bangladesh experienced like military situation and civilian government system. At present, Bangladesh has democratically elected government system. Also, in the recent past, Pakistan had democratic governments under the leadership of Nawaz Sharif and Benazir Bhutto. But in 1999, military coup under the Pervez Musharraf replaced Nawaz Sharif's government and put a military government in this place. General Musharraf was popularly elected to the post of the president in 2001, but the people of Pakistan could never accept him as fairly or fairly chosen leader. So Musharraf lost in 19 in from like 2001 to 2008, and after 2008 election, Asif Ali Zardari became the new president. The Zardari-led government completed its tenure or term feature and lost to Nawaz Sharif's party in the general election 2013. So this is the brief introduction of the Pakistan government system, and you should just only read this. No need to go through so much deeply, but just have a clear cut idea what I am giving you just now. Now, towards the Nepal, we should say that Nepal followed absolute monarchy till 1990. We already discussed in HS first year classes, but in 1990, some political reforms established a system of constitutional monarchy. Even then, the king was very powerful. But responding to a series of popular protests in 2006, the king's power were further limited and democracy was established in the country. According to the treaty signed on 23rd December 2007, federal democracy was to be established in Nepal and monarchy was to come to as its end. So from 2008 we find a new form of government system except monarchy, which exclude monarchy. The Communist Party of Nepal, popularly the follower of Maoist, won a large number of seats in the Constituent Assembly election and brought to an end of 240 years old monarchy and established federal democracy. So this is a systematic line for you all to towards like the small countries of South Asia like Bhutan and Maldives also have experienced such changes like Nepal. In Bhutan, there is multi-party democracy along with monarchy. On the other hand, although Maldives was under the rule of Sultan in 1968, it was replaced by a presidential government and Maldives became a republic now. However, till 2005, there was only one political party in Maldives called the Maldivian Democratic Party or MDP. The Assembly of Maldives in 2005 passed the implementation of a multi-party system, and through this the opposition parties were legalized and given political rights. Now, a close look at the political system of South Asian nations points out that the people of the region have a great aspiration for democracy. That means all the states, by the way, needs democratic government system. People from the different communities, cultures, they support or respect democracy. This changes the popular belief that democracy can succeed only in developed nations. That means where we find that democracy is only important in the big or developed countries, but South Asian countries prove that democracy is also good for small states and it can change or develop the states like South Asian states. Next important thing, that the experience of South Asia broadens the global perceptions of democracy as a form of government. Now, democratization and its realization in different states like Pakistan and Nepal, we should read the government system. First of all, the military rule and democracy in Pakistan. Let me tell you a story like situation where you can find your best answers when you on your caption. For example, the military rule and democracy in Pakistan. Pakistan achieved independence from British imperialism on 14th August 1947. Muhammad Ali Jinnah became the first Governor General of Pakistan. Although Pakistan achieved independence in 1947, but it was only in 1956 that the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan drafted its own constitution. Just after 2 years of the drafting of the Constitution of Pakistan, a military coup under the leadership of Ayub Khan took control of the country. In 1960, Ayub Khan won the first presidential election and became the first popular elected president of Pakistan. Ayub Khan won a second term as Pakistan's president on 2nd January 1964, but because of popular unrest, that means problem or mass revolution, he had to resign in 1969 and he was succeeded by General Yahya Khan. After Yahya Khan assumed the office of the president, secessionist movement began in East Pakistan. That means the separation of Bangladesh from Pakistan. As a result, a civil war started in East Pakistan in 1971 and the demand for a new sovereign country called Bangladesh was made. India supported the popular demand of East Pakistan and this led to a war between India and Pakistan. In 1971, Pakistan was defeated in this war and East Pakistan succeeded from this war, and from Pakistan it was separated, forming the independent nation of Bangladesh. After this, Pakistan had a democratically elected government under Zulfikar Ali Bhutto for the period of 1971 to 1977. But General Zia-ul Haq led a government or military coup in 1977 and removed Bhutto from the power. However, by this time there were popular movements in Pakistan in support of democracy. Zia-ul Haq's death in a mysterious plane crash in 1988 paved the road for another democratically elected government under the leadership of Benazir Bhutto. After this, Benazir's Pakistan government under the leadership of this government, People's Party of Nawaz Sharif's Muslim League formed successive government in Pakistan. But General Pervez Musharraf removed Nawaz Sharif government in 1997 in a military coup and took the office of the president. After this, Pervez Musharraf won the election held in 2001 and legally became the president. In 2008 elections, Musharraf lost and Asif Ali Zardari became the president. Benazir Bhutto was assassinated, that means killed, in 2007. At present, Mamnoon Hussain and Nawaz Sharif is the president-like body and prime minister of Pakistan respectively. But today we find Imran Khan as their Wazir-e-Azam, which is totally not supporting military government system. It is supporting democracy. Now the question is causes of decline of democracy in Pakistan. Reason for the destruction of democracy in Pakistan or fall of democracy in Pakistan. After achieving freedom from British imperialism, two independent nations were created, as you know, from two nation theory, India and Pakistan, and they were formed. But while India succeeded in implementing democracy, and we understood that how it was difficult, Pakistan continued to struggle with establishing stable democracy. A number of factors are responsible for this. For example, in Pakistan, military, religious leaders, feudal lords, elite means high class people, have a lot of influence on Pakistani society. This is a reason behind the frequent military coups and removal of democratically elected governments. Next, we can say Pakistan's conflict with India has made its army very powerful. According to the people behind military coup, Pakistani political parties and democracy have serious weaknesses which are threatening Pakistan's security. According to them, the political parties of Pakistan are concerned only with their own interests, and the democratic system is very chaotic, problematic. As a result, the military has to take administration in its own hands to ensure the security of Pakistan. Next, we can say another reason behind the decline of the democracy in Pakistan is that there is no genuine international support for a democratic government in Pakistan. This gives the military an opportunity to continue their dominance in political system. Most Western countries, including US, encourages military rule in Pakistan. The fear of global Islamic terrorism and Pakistan's nuclear weapon going to the hands of terrorists make these countries support military rule. Moreover, Pakistani army plays a big role in safeguarding the interests of Western countries in East and South Asia because of the reasons like monarchy, situations. Pakistan has not been able to establish a stable democracy, leadership, equality, situation of the state, security problem, then feudal lord system, elite problems, power politics, so etc. These things. Today we will discuss about Nepal also. Now the government system of Nepal we already discussed in our first year classes. Now elaborately we'll give you the answer. If you can write, then it will better for you. Monarchy and democracy in Nepal. Nepal was initially a Hindu state and later it became a constitutional monarchy. Even under constitutional monarchy, the king had maximum power. The people of Nepal revolted for an accountable democratic government for a number of times. But the king of Nepal repressed such protests with a strong hand and did not encourage the spread of democracy. But a new democratic constitution was drafted in 1990 as a result of such movements because the people want democracy but king wants to remain in power. That is the main thing. However, the tenure of the new democratic government was very short and it was completely under the control of monarch. Here is to be mentioned that In the 19th century, the Maoists spread their influence in every part of Nepal. They declared armed revolution against the king and the ruling class, that means the royal family members. As a number of fact, or as a result, we can say there was constant conflict between the Maoist guerrillas and the royal soldiers. So there have been often three-sided conflict going on between the royal army, the Maoists, and the Democrats. In the recent past, in 2002, the King of Nepal dismissed the parliament and ended the limited democracy that was functioning. Nepal again became monarchy totally. But movements led by supporters of democracy forced the king against their oppressive rule and again to make way for the House of Representatives in 2006. This movement was a non-violent movement and it was led by seven-party alliance, Maoists and social activists. Although there was a representative parliament, democracy was not established in full form. Formation of a constituent assembly to draft a new democratic constitution for Nepal was a historic event in that country. Interestingly, some people supported the continued presence of monarchy under the system of limited or constitutional monarchy. This was to maintain a legacy of the past, just to follow the system of the past. According to the treaty signed on 23rd December 2007, monarchy was to be abolished completely in Nepal. The country was to be declared a federal republic. I'm just telling you just few minutes ago. In the election to the Constituent Assembly held in April 2008, the Communist Party of Nepal won with a huge number of votes. That means the monarch put place and federal republic government in May 2008 hold the position. At last, President Ram Yadav declared a new constitution for Nepal in the Second Constituent Assembly on 20th September 2015. This new constitution established Nepal as a federal democratic republic in 2015. Constituent Assembly has been transformed into parliament after the declaration of the constitution. It is to be mentioned that the first Constituent Assembly failed to prepare the constitution, but the new constitution has also failed to satisfy all the people of Nepal, and it is really not possible to satisfy everyone. As a result of this conflicting situation is still prevailing in this country, that means in Nepal. So that's all for today. Next class we will discuss about the government system of other states. तो आज के छुट्टी